Welcome to South Charlotte Sports Report Live tonight. My name is Trip Rokes, and I have got one of the guests that I am probably as excited about having him as any guest that I've had during this whole pandemic, and that's my good friend Bryson Byrnes from Charlotte Christian School Football. How are you?
I'm doing good, Mr. Tripp. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm very excited about tonight's conversation. I'm ready to go.
Let's talk a little bit. I've known you for quite some time, and I've just always been so impressed. And I believe it or not, I can remember back to when you were born. I was working in NASCAR. Your mom was working in NASCAR. Your dad was working in NASCAR, and voila, there we go. You've got Bryson is born, and I remember all that excitement. But you've turned into a pretty good football player. Talk to me a little bit about playing football at Charlotte Christian School.
Honestly, it's been probably one of the best experiences of my life. You know, we came to Charlotte Christian because we used to go to Westminster Catawba Christian School down in Rock Hill, and they actually had a pretty decent football program for a while there. But then after a couple of years, it actually shut down. So we as a family sat down and said, like, where is the best place when it comes to both football and academics and getting a Christian education?
Yes.
And so we were looking around during my fifth grade, and we came across Charlotte Christian, and that was back in 2013 when they had a perfect season. That was when Jeb Blazevich was the tight end for them.
Oh,
yeah. And they had like Elijah DeVoe, I think, was a sophomore during that season. It was when they were very, very good, and we just decided we were going to go to Charlotte Christian because we thought it was the perfect 3-in-1 package. And I've just loved playing. I've been playing for them since 7th grade. I've been playing every single fall, and I've just loved it all the way through.
Well, let's go back a little bit. I can remember you playing football down in TGK. Talk a little bit about your youth football experience. I can remember times when you would always go to the Appalachian State football camp, and then all of a sudden here you are playing high school football. So let's go in reverse and talk a little bit about from the start and some of your favorite memories back from TGK.
Well, I played under Coach Evan Holmes for his first TK Trojans team when I was in 4th grade back in 2012. That was my first year playing football. That was a great experience. We ended up winning the little championship that year, so that was very awesome. Then played for him for 2 more years for the TK Patriots in the 11 to 12-year-old league. That was really fun. Had some great guys on that team. I know our starting quarterback actually played in that league for a little while. I know Matthew Tuamola.
Yeah, because he's from down that way, right?
Yeah, he played in that same league for a year. So that was very fun. And it was honestly, it got me introduced to football, and that's kind of what got me hooked on football was that Coach Evan Helms was a really good man, and he was a great coach that I had, and it just I just continued to just develop as a football player pretty much from there.
And I know there was some connections with Appalachian State and going up there, and tell me about some of that stuff.
Yeah, we've had we've been season ticket holders since 2011 up at App, and we have a lot of great friends up there. When my dad was struggling with cancer back a few years ago, the coaching staff was very nice to us, and they, took good care of us, and they basically were there with us step by step through the whole process, and it was really nice of them. We've been just kind of following them over the years from when they just first entered into FBS play back in 2013 and 2014 to now where they were ranked and won the Sun Belt Conference Championship, I think 4 years in a row, and it's just we've kind of just almost developed a tradition with that school. Before I started playing high school football, every Friday night we'd drive up there because we have a house up in Seven Devils, about 15 minutes away from the stadium. And we would just stay up there on Friday night, go to the game Saturday afternoon, come back to that house Saturday night. We'd watch like the big game of the week that was on ABC usually. And it was just a really cool tradition. And I've just really enjoyed keeping up with Appalachian State, especially since their head coach, Coach Sean Clark, he used to coach the offensive line for them before he was promoted to being the head coach, and he treated us very well. He was probably one of our best friends during the whole process, and I'm very glad he got the head coaching position, especially since he really loves the university, and I think he'll be there for many, many, many years to come. And it's just been great every step of the way.
Let's talk about another coach, your coach, Coach Easton.
Um, this is good. In my personal opinion, and this is going to be, but in my personal opinion, I think he's probably the best coach in the entire city.
He's right up there with them.
Yeah.
It would be hard to argue that.
Mm-hmm. So he's a great guy. He cares for his players. Like he has like personal relationships with them. Like he cares about like not only like he doesn't just care about them as football players, but he cares about them as people as well. We've always he's always up to having a conversation with me, whether it be about sports or just about school in general. He's just a very great guy, and he's just willing to put in a lot of work to make sure that we're very successful. And he's just been really great. Had a great relationship with him ever since I came to that school, and it's just been great with him. I've really enjoyed him being our head coach.
First class guy. Big game this weekend, Providence Day. Real big game. Now, I want to take a minute to explain what Charlotte Christian, Providence Day, Country Day, and Latin are doing this year. Mm-hmm. You've kind of put yourself inside your own bubbles. You're only playing those teams. Mm-hmm. So you're going to play each one of the teams. Mm-hmm. Then you're going to have a tournament among you four to determine a champion. And then I believe, it sounds like anyway, at that point there could be 2 more games playing toward a state championship. So big early season matchup with Providence Day. What are the Knights going to have to do to win?
I think our offense is going to have to get going. We have a very good defense, but I think it's going to rely on our offense. They have a pretty good front seven. They have a two very good inside linebackers. They have a very good defensive line, especially their defensive end, who always plays to the strong side. He has great hands, comes off the ball fast. They have 2 big guys in the middle. They're D tackles that are very good at stopping the run and shedding off double teams. And it's just if we could get running on offense and give Matthew time to pass and get our receivers open and get our great running back Henry Rutledge, if we could get him some holes and allow him to run, I think that's what's going to win us the game. I think it's going to come down to how our offense could perform against their pretty good defense, especially their front 4 in that defensive line, and then their 2 inside linebackers.
Talk a little bit, and I'm not going to expect you to name every one of them, but some of your senior leaders on the team. Talk about, give them a shout out and what it is that they do to make them leaders.
Well, I already talked. I briefly mentioned him before, but Henry Rutledge, who's our starting running back, he comes to work every day, and he's just one of those kind of leaders where he leads in a way where he just works and just shows up. Shows up to work hard and that kind of stuff, and where like he doesn't necessarily lead with words, but he leads with actions. And he's someone to rally behind, and he's someone to where he's just a great guy to be around, and someone that you want to almost follow his example. I'd say another good leader would be Mason Deal, who's the starting center. He knows that playbook inside and out. He's the leader of that offensive line and really good friend of mine. And honestly, we are a lot better with him as our center. And I personally, I can attest that, our offensive line he really is the captain of our offensive line. And, I don't know what we would do without him. So he is definitely our leader on the offense. I would say on the defense, our main leader is probably Jimmy Bailey, who's an outside linebacker, defensive end sometimes. They kind of put him all over the place. Very, very athletic. Yeah, a lot of energy to him. He's that, he's the kind of guy where he brings a lot of energy to practice. He's a kind of a jokester in a way too. He's almost the life of a party in the way, but he's the kind of guy where you get hyped around. He hypes the whole team up, and he leads the defense. He's the main one that makes the calls on the defense, and he's going to be the one that makes the big plays when we need it most. So if I were to say, those are probably our biggest leaders across the whole entire team.
Let's get away from football and talk a little bit about school. You're a senior.
Yes, sir.
What do you think is next for you? What are you looking at? What do you want to do?
I've already applied, done a few early decision applications. I would say probably I want to enter sports broadcasting like my father did. I just love sports broadcasting. We were blessed when I got into high school that we and the Charlotte Christian webmaster, Miss Tessa Reagan, we set up a little sports broadcasting club, and I was blessed to broadcast a lot of varsity football games when I was an underclassman and broadcast a lot of varsity basketball games. And that kind of confirmed what I'd already kind of knew, is that I wanted to kind of follow in my dad's footsteps and become a sports broadcaster. So I'm going to try to major in that when I go to college. But another thing that I'm also probably going to major in is I'm going to major in political science, because I'm actually very into politics and I follow it very closely. And I've even helped out on a few campaigns here and there, especially as 2020 looms.
That's fantastic. Let's I think that to sit here and talk right now, and I don't want this to be the focus of it. I want to go back a few years.
Mm-hmm.
Your father, an incredible man, one of the best broadcasters in NASCAR history. Mm-hmm. Your mother, incredible leader, marketing guru, built a great company, public relations company. So you grew up through NASCAR.
Yes, sir.
And of course, tragically lost your father through a battle with cancer. But I think so much of your father lives on today inside of you. Your optimism, your outgoing, your everything is just so, we see so much of your father in you. What were some of the lessons he left you that you continue to try to live today?
I would say, honestly, the biggest one was perseverance, because he had cancer twice, actually.
Right.
He originally had it, beaten it, and then it came back the second time around. But he also had, he's also fought through a lot of other things in his life. That was the main thing, is that perseverance, no matter what happens, that you need to get back up and you need to keep going in life. Because that's ultimately the thing that God would want you to do, is that he would want you to just keep working in life, just want you to keep going forward, and that, if you get knocked down, you just got to get back up and just got to keep trying at it. And that's really probably one of the main things that I learned from him, was that seeing him go through cancer and seeing him, just grow in his relationship with God and just grow in his relationship with me, is that was probably the biggest thing that I learned from him, was that perseverance in life.
Right. And, I always like to describe you when I talk to people about you. You're so optimistic. You're so positive. And I think those are things that your parents have instilled in you as well. And I think that is what's going to carry you for so long. Is just when people see you, you tend to light them up. And, going through this pandemic right now are very tough times for a lot of people. How have you been dealing with the pandemic and trying to keep yourself going and positive, as well as helping out other friends? Because I tell people daily, I don't care who you are. This is a mental challenge, what we're going through. And everyone has their own mental battles through this pandemic. And anyone that denies that, I'll be honest with you, I just don't believe them. But how have you been able to help out some of your friends and just keep things on the positive side and keep going? Might have lost Bryson right there. He may come back. Let's see. Sometimes these things will freeze up on you on the connection, but I believe he will get back to us. So
but
there we go. Are you there?
Say,
hold on. Let's let Bryson come back.
Yeah, I'm here now.
Okay. Did you get my question?
I'm here.
How have you helped your friends and everyone stay up during the pandemic?
Oh.
You there? Well, we're going to wait on him. Sometimes it will come back, and we will continue to wait on Bryson.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I got you.
So I heard most of your question there. Honestly speaking, I appreciate you saying I'm an optimistic person, and I light people up in a good way. But I honestly struggled a lot too during that time, because that was during frost season, and we had basically the vast majority of our season, just cut right there and then, and it was honestly a pretty tough time. That was honestly a decently tough time in my life during that first initial phase of the lockdown, where it was like completely like everything was like completely locked down. So honestly, a thing that I did was I just honestly just tried to get in shape. That was the main thing, is that I lifted as often as I could, even though I only had 50-pound dumbbells at home. I would just do a lot of reps, and that's not fun. But I would just try to get in shape for a football season. And I think in a weird way, it helped me out a lot because I was able to focus more on football, and I was able to have more time to focus on it because it kind of had time through the spring and the summer now. And that was the main.
We'll let Bryson come back. Sometimes the cell signal will go
How
low.
I progressed over that. Mm-hmm.
You got me?
Yeah, I can. I do. I do now.
Sometimes that signal will do that.
But along with that, but I just, I have a very good friend who actually also plays defensive line for us. His name is Kai Sutherland, and that was the main thing. Is I just try to, keep up my friendship with him, and also keep up my friendship with other people around the school, whether it just be just playing video games with them or just reaching out to them. Another great person like that would be Joseph Sockleben, who is also a broadcaster along with me at school. He's a very good friend of mine. And I just try to keep up with that relationship, just try to stay in touch with people because it not only helps you, but you're also helping out other people because we were designed as social beings. We were, honestly, we were meant to have relationships. And I think that was probably, that hurt a lot of people during lockdowns, is that a lot of their relationships were either completely cut off or were greatly, just a lot worse.
They were taken away. They were
away, and that was
away. And that's that's kind of why I hope so much that this thing doesn't go sideways again, and we don't have to go back down that path. It's not healthy for sure.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you some fun questions. All right. So you and the boys win on Friday night, and they look at you and they say, Bryson, where are we going? Where we're going to eat at, where we're going to celebrate our win at in a socially distanced fashion, I have to say. Where are you picking? What place are you choosing to go to?
I'm going to Five Guys. Great burgers, great fries. You can't, as a lineman, you can't ask for much more after a hard victory. Is that you just want that big old bag of fries that they have those cups that they try to put the fries in, but they always overflow, and it's just you can't ask for much more. I'll be going to Five Guys, getting a double bacon cheeseburger with a good side of fries. That would be my main go-to right there.
One more question on that line. All right, you get something big happens in your life. It's time to celebrate. Where are you going to tell your family that you want to go for them to take you to eat at?
That's a very good question. There's a very good, very fancy restaurant pretty close to us. It's called the Beef and Bottle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that great steaks. It's just it's kind of a fine dining type experience in a way, but it's just really good food, and it's just like if you really want if you're celebrating a huge accomplishment, that's the go-to place in our family that we go to.
That's a good one. That is a very good one. Well, Bryce, I'll tell you, I have so much enjoyed talking to you. I enjoy seeing you every time that I see you. I really hope that things will clear up, and maybe I can come to Charlotte Christian and you and I can broadcast the game together.
Absolutely. I would love to do that.
I think we should do that. And we'll set a goal and maybe a basketball game or something, and we'll pick one out, and you and I will do it, and we'll broadcast it at Charlotte Christian and broadcast it across our Charlotte sports. But I just want you to know, as someone that's at least been aware of you and known you for a long time, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I know that your father is beaming when he sees you and all the great things you're doing. I know your mother is proud of you, but you keep being that positive light at Charlotte Christian. And as soon as you decide where you're going to college, I want you to let me know, and let you and I stay in touch, okay?
Absolutely. It was great talking to you.
This has been Tripper Oaks with a special guest, Bryson Byrnes from Charlotte Christian School tonight. Join us again next time with another exciting guest. Until then, have a great night.